Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts of that's the Gaming Saloon reviews for August 3rd, 2025, with your host, Peacemaker 2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
It's more Gaim. Yay.
And yes, there is a reason I put that where I did.
Hmm.
And like I said, I get to use this twice.
But yeah, we get to basically all of the serious revelations that happen. I think the end of the year the game started.
I think.
I have not been paying attention to air dates for episodes, but I do know we're transitioning into advertising for Kamen Rider Tyson because I caught the preview at the end of the last episode. Are you excited for that to take over the opening for like it's basically a week for us?
No, we're at the start of the new year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were right in there because
we ended the last batch with the first episode of the new year.
Okay. I felt like we were in that area because toy-wise, the Genesis driver is supposed to be like the big fancy belt for end of the year, like Christmas time. And then we're supposed to get like a Gaim power-up right around there to promote it as well, which is why we get Jimba Lemon this batch.
But yeah, this batch, June 12th through February 2nd. I mean, January 12th, not June. Brain can't read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah. So effectively the January batch.
I am since we got Jimba Lemon this week, I will say this. I am still annoyed to this day that we never got Jimba Melon. Even though it is literally just, I think it's literally just 2 parts on the suit to change. Because it's just the two, the plates.
I think that's the only thing that ever changes on any of them.
Yeah. Across all 6 Jimbas we get over the course of all of Gaim media, that is the only thing that ever changes. At least in terms of the armor itself, like there are the couple differences for specific riders, but like otherwise that is the only thing that ever changes about the armor.
I can't speak for post-series media, but I think I understand the writing reason why we never got it in show. We're supposed to be with Kota and Takatora be looking at 2 sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that probably wouldn't have worked as well. Narratively, at least. Should it have still been a form in something post-series? Yeah. But I can kind of understand why in show we never got that.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I probably could have saw it is if they actually held true to Takatora being dead later and let that be the form that Kota beat Michi with.
Yeah.
That's the only other way I could have saw that working.
There's like a moment in the movie where Kota picks up the Melon Energy Lock Seed and is kind of like slamming through some of the other riders' forms. And when he goes Jimba, he just goes base Jimba Lemon instead of Jimba Melon, even though he literally just picked up the Melon Energy Lock Seed. Which is one of those like, how the fuck did you miss that opportunity? Besides that, I know post series wise and material, Jimba Melon is used by Zangetsu and Bravo in an SIC thing. And one of them uses it in the novel, at least. I know Michi uses Jimba Dragon Fruits in the novel. But there's somebody uses Jimba Melon. It might be Zangetsu in the novel, since I think that novel predates the existence of his Kachidoki. So they did that as his upgrade for that novel.
Which really would have been a side grade, not an upgrade.
Yes.
Because the Jimba forms is really only supposed to put on par with the Genesis drivers, but meh.
Yeah. Otherwise, I appreciate the Jimba. It is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really complain about it.
Mm-hmm. I think
it's probably one of our better mid-grade, mid-grade upgrades kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because it's not the mid-show upgrade by no means.
No, that's Kachidoki.
And I guess it kind of feels like it's that progression there. Because Kiwami kind of goes reverse with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, a lot of our actual final forms, less is more, is the mentality.
Which I appreciate when they do that.
Yeah. But it kind of feels right, because Jimba is a bulkier form than what Kota's used to. Kachidoki's a bulkier form than Jinba, and Kiwami is Master of all fruits.
Uh-huh.
AKA Fruit Jesus.
Yep. I think my only other downside with Jimba, and this is just Jimba in the Genesis Riders. God, there's so much usage of the Sonic Arrow.
Yeah.
Like 6 different people are going to be using the Sonic Arrow from here on out, basically. And that kind of sucks in terms of fight variety, because it's like, yep, 6 different people are using basically a crossbow.
Using sword bow.
Yep. Only
that
one person attempts to
shield.
be different. Yeah. Yeah, only one person attempts to be different about it, and it only is if you notice it, and that is like Kaito holds the Sonic Arrow upside down for some reason.
Yeah. And, well, I don't know. Most of the uses for it are used purely offensively.
Yeah.
Takatora might be the only other one that doesn't purely use it offensively.
Yeah.
But even with that, it doesn't happen enough.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, you can tell his base form had a shield because he will try to use it as a shield.
Hmm.
It is not an effective shield.
No. But yeah, it just makes me remember, someone in like the Soda Pop Discord I'm in was like, I kind of wish we had unique weapons for at least Marika and Sigurd, since we technically have a unique weapon for Duke in his Sengoku driver form.
I get the Sonic Arrow's supposed to be the more powerful of the weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like it should have took the place of the secondary sword, though.
Yeah.
And give them still their, maybe not their original primary, but at least a modified upgrade of that.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm also sitting here thinking, okay, if we did that, then that would practically mean that base Zangetsu could never be used again because they would probably just repurpose that shield.
Which they do anyway in one of the V cinemas when they slap a minigun on the end of it for Watermelon.
Yeah, but the V cinema, that show's done over with. I'm meaning if they did it right now, we would never see base Zangetsu again.
Yeah.
So I while I feel like that would have been a good idea, I can understand why they probably were hesitant on that.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, I almost have to think that there's probably only 2 Sonic arrows. Because I don't think we actually get to see more than that in a fight ever.
Some part of me says that when all 4 of them together, they all have Sonic arrows, but I'm also like, how many of them are composited into that shot?
Yep. Because they all 4 do in that group shot.
Yeah.
But I have to wonder, because there's enough spacing between each of them, if it isn't they use the same prop.
I think there's at least 2, like you said.
I feel like
Because
there
we do
has to
see-
at least be 2, because there has been fights where 2 of them have been involved.
Yeah.
Unless I'm misremembering, I don't think we ever saw 2 on screen at the same time, though.
Mm-hmm. I will say, in my head at least, Marika has twin swords, kind of like Zuko's swords from Airbender, and Sigurd basically has an unworthy version of Mjolnir.
I could see that.
That is what I've pictured as like what would be their personal weapons. She has twin swords. Sigurd basically has an unworthy Mjolnir, basically. He has some sort of like, probably not exactly Mjolnir, probably something more like, kind of more like Stormbreaker in shape. He just has big dumb hammer.
You know, I just thought of something they could have done, actually.
What?
They could have kept the Sonic Arrow as the base and did attachments.
Yeah, that weirdly, that's kind of what SIC does. SIC emphasizes the bladed part into like almost a full sword part.
Well, I got to thinking about it when you said about Marika having twin swords. Have the Sonic Arrow be able to be split into 2.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been an easy modification. They've already got the lock technology because of Gaims, so
yeah,
that would have made sense. They could have actually give some customization to each of them.
that's technically the Dragon Fruit's energy version of it, but that's what it looks like in SIC.
Yeah. That could have worked.
Mm-hmm. I forget it's spelled Jim Burr instead of Jim Buh at times. Okay, yeah, there's the Bravo. Here's the one I was thinking of, which is the Bravo one. They kind of emphasize the bladed part super hard in SIC for some reason.
But still, you could have brought that down, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Made it uniform, and could have easily let it split and become two. There could have been options for unique weapons for the four of them, even.
Yeah, because Tycoons does, Tycoons basically does that, but it's not technically a bow. There's a bow weapon that does split in half in Rider. I just can't think of it offhand.
I can't think of it either. I feel like I've seen it though too.
Yeah. Anywho, we should probably talk about the episodes.
Maybe.
All right. Any thoughts going into 13 through 16 real quick?
No, besides the fact of we end on a very eye-opening spot, because I'm pretty sure that the last interaction we see with Michi and Takatora kind of imply everything that happens for the end of the show.
Basically, yeah. All right, we will kick off with episode 13 then. Gaim and Baron, Tag of Friendship. So, folks are getting hospitalized from being attacked by Invest because they are basically being infected and turned into Invest. The show doesn't get into that point, but that's basically what's happening. Weirdly enough, this only works on Invest that are native to the forest. If, as we see later with Hase, if someone who is not native to the forest becomes an Invest, they are not carrying the virus, basically, that can turn you into an Invest if they attack you. Which is fairly arbitrary, but sure.
Yeah, it really is.
I feel like that was a situation of, oh, we wrote in that Rat got attacked and injured, and they didn't want him to get infected, basically.
Okay, there is another explanation they could have went with that. What if an Invest has to be fully an Invest? Because Hase was still able to go back to a majority human form.
Yeah.
I could see something like that, because then that would also kind of bring in to the end of the show. If Kaito was to attack people, because he has control over both forms, it wouldn't do it either.
Yeah.
That's one of those I could have seen if it was written that way, and been like, oh, okay, it's because he's not fully an Invest, he's just mostly.
Yeah, Kota sees this with his sister and then heads off. We'll see him, Mai and Michi, be very stupid about this later, but I think that's for dramatic purposes. Meanwhile, Sengoku and Takatora talk about this, and Takatora's like, maybe we should evacuate areas and protect civilians, and Sengoku's like, nah, it's fine. We have a cover up for this. It's all in the script. And I'm like, oh, good Lord. Takatora, aren't you in charge? Why are you listening to them?
Something plot, something reasons, something needs to be picked by Forest.
Yeah, Kasagura will mention that later, that no one has been picked by the Forest, which we'll get to that eventually.
Also, I call bull on that. But that's because we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. Hase's also going to be running around for the episode trying to find Sid and Lockseeds because he wants power, and no one is giving him power. Also, in the meantime, Takatora goes to Pierre being like, I've got a job for you. And Pierre is like, all right, cool.
Mainly because he already wanted to beat all the beat riders anyhow, so.
Yeah. Then we get to meet Chikota and Mai as they arrive at the hospital, and Chikota's like, hey, we'll get checked up so my sister will get off her back. And then since they are there in a tire, because somebody didn't think this plan through, they immediately get recognized and swarmed by people, and then the doctors have to pull them off and then show them as like, this is what you're responsible for, not really knowing that the invests that are injuring these people have nothing to do with the beat riders, presumably.
Yeah, we think.
As we'll find out later, some of them might be, because chaos.
Because at the very least, Team Red Hot's a pack of idiots.
Yep. But yeah, our trio try to think this over, and Michi's like, this must have been their plan all along. We're fucked. We didn't see a Dragon Invest show up. They attack some people. Kota shows up, tries to fight it for a bit. And then Bravo shows up and starts fighting Kota and lets the Invest get away because he, as he puts it, my contract says I just beat you guys up. My contract doesn't say anything about beating up the Invest. And I'm like, not gonna protect civilians at all.
This man is not deserving of the Kamen Rider title, just saying.
Yeah.
Good thing he takes an armored rider instead.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to remember if we skipped the Baron scene.
Yes.
Apparently I forgot to write it down. Because before this, we see Bravo show up to fight Baron, and he fights him for a bit, but then a piece of the stage gets cut off and bops Pecco in the arm, and I don't know if it implies to break his arm, but it heavily injures him, and so Team Baron has to retreat to go get him patched up. And thus starts Bravo's whole, I am the hero of the city, and it's like, no, you're not. You're not helping. I can't believe I forgot to write down that scene. Bear in mind, we were working off my notes from when the joke came out, when I did R&R, so I might have just forgot to write stuff down.
I love that you mentioned that, and I'm like, wait, yeah, actually, because that happens before Kota and Bravo.
Oh, wait, no, I see it in my notes now. I just didn't, paragraph it out. I might have missed a paragraph when I copied them into here. Anyway, Kota's fighting the Invest now, and then Bravo shows up, fights him. Eventually, Kaito shows up, and then the two of them fight Bravo for a bit, kick his butt, and send him packing. And then they go to try to find the Invest. Only for, I believe, Takatora shows up first.
Yep.
As Shinzen and basically mops up the Invest quickly before the two of them can fight it. And then as the three of them stand off, Hase's in the background going, I desire power. Ooh, fruit. I'm gonna eat the fruit. I do appreciate Takatora sees this and immediately goes, you spit that the fuck out. No. Ah, fuck. I appreciate that Takatora is like, oh, shit. Because he knows.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he knows it's even if he does spit that out, he's fucked. As soon as that got in his mouth, he's screwed. At least I assume so.
I would think so, considering they have multiple accounts of this.
Not only that, but they've researched this with animals. So they probably have some understanding of how this transfers.
Even if not, there's got to be a reason why all of the personnel in the forest are in full suits.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you wonder how many of the researchers and helpers have ended up just deciding to take them a bite.
Yeah, it's because they imply it, but they never really say it, that the fruit has some sort of hypnotic effect on you. That if someone doesn't intervene, you will kind of eat it without knowing.
I thought they did make a comment about that at some point.
I don't remember, so they might have.
I know it's
clear.
heavily implied at this point, at the very least.
Yeah, because it's happened like I think 4 times now, basically, that they've showed it. Hell, I forgot that we technically skipped the Gaim Tokyutra crossover, since it's technically not in the episode count.
Oh yeah.
Which means we missed the best joke of the show. With Takatora not seeing the giant robot because he has no imagination.
Oh yeah, that. I forgot about that.
Because it comes up in that crossover as well, because Kota actually stops right from eating the fruit. Which is weird because this predates these episodes, if I recall correctly.
I think so. It may be
Actually,
by not much, because I'm pretty sure that one of the fights actually takes place in this same area.
yeah. Let me look real quick. No, it's later. It's between 23 and 24, apparently. Well, apparently it's at least after 24, but it aired between episodes 23 and 24. So, never mind. Kota would know that, oh no, you don't eat that fruit, because I think he literally shoots it out of Wright's hand with the Busto Saber. But yeah, Hazai turns in the invest, and that's where the episode ends, which takes us to episode 14, Secrets of Helheim's Fruits. So Hazai's a monster, and Takatora's like, well, gotta do a murder. And Kota's like, what the fuck? And then Kaito decides to fight Takatora for a bit. He basically loses and gets captured. Kota, on the other hand, tries to like talk Hazai down and eventually gets him to like go back to mostly human, except for a clawed hand, but then he just runs off. Back with Team Gaim, they're discussing things going on when Kota shows up and is like, if you see Hase, call me. I'm not going to explain why. Bye. Also, Michi's not here because he's busy. Because Michi decided to accompany his brother to Yggdrasil and find out what's going on. And basically, Michi will find out they have a portal in the tower, which I think, wouldn't Kota have already told him that?
I would have thought.
Or maybe Kota didn't notice.
Probably
he comes
one, actually.
Yeah, because he comes out of that portal for the fight with the Suika arms. But Michi will find out that, oh, the day Yuya disappeared, he went and ate a fruit and became an invest. And that invest is the one Kota murdered in the first episode. Oops. So, Michi's going to be keeping that secret from Kota for like a good long while. Because Michi is a really great friend.
Right. We'll go with that.
He's such a good friend.
He's such a good friend. He totally won't hold this over Kota's head at any point in the future.
Yep.
repeatedly.
But Hase ends up at Troopers, ends up injuring Rat before heading off, and Kota sees this and gives chase. Takatora, he sees Takatora and Sid also talking about stuff before Takatora gets called about Hase and heads out. Kota saves mother and her kid from Hase. He tries to like talk Hase down. It doesn't work. Kota mostly resolves himself to like take Hase down if necessary, and has it out with him. But eventually, he's like, "I can't do this. No, you're my friend. You are." I was about to say you're my friend, but no.
No, you're human.
You are in a. You are human. You are not a monster. And this is when, as the writer wiki points out, and then I went, "Oh yeah, this is the only time that happens. All 4 of our energy riders transform at the same time. This is the only time it happens."
Yep.
All of them are off screen when this happens. We don't see who they are. Which is hilarious because they basically show us 3/4 of the people in the very next episode. Or they show 2/4 of the people we don't know who are in the very next episode, so I don't know why they hit anyone. Also, does it feel like some of them are not acting like who they are by the end of the scene? Or is it just me overthinking?
Kind of. But at the same time, the other two don't get to really talk.
It was something about the way they're looking at each other and their body language. I'm just like, that is not Sengoku, Minato, and Sid. Or not, it's not Sid. It is not Sengoku, Minato, and Takatora. For some reason. Like, they decided not to have it be them in that scene for some reason, even though Sid is clearly Sid in the scene. Because after they transform, they knock Kota out of the way, and Takatora's like, "Sid, clean up." And then Sid proceeds to murder Hase. And then Kota gets captured. And that takes us halfway through. So how do you feel halfway through?
I think I can kind of understand what you're talking about with that last one. The only thing that could have changed that would have been, what if the order of operations was slightly different?
Mm-hmm.
What if Takatora realized that Michi was a rider before this scene? Then that could have made more sense of him being like, "Okay, you made this mess, clean it up."
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of can see what you're talking about with that.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, Sengoku loves to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Him being silent in this entire scene, yeah, that is out of character.
Mm-hmm. And bear in mind, the scene I am talking about is like 2 seconds. It is literally blink and you miss it. Because it is just a reaction from the other 3 after Kota gets knocked out. It is nothing. It is just one of those, this feels, the 3 of them, at least 2 of them feel out of character.
Yeah, 2
of them
we
know they.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, good.
Yep. Shall we hit the second half then?
I guess so.
All right, episode 15, The Man Who Developed the Belts. Kota and Kaito are captured and taken in an elevator to go talk to Sengoku in his big open, this is clearly not a lab, but we set up some equipment in this room in a wherever the fuck we are building. Like, I don't know what they have retrofitted into Sengoku's office set-wise, but this doesn't feel like his lab.
Oh, it's not his lab. Michi was in his lab beside the conference room earlier.
Yeah.
That was totally the lab setting from earlier too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was watching it, I was like, oh, did he run into Sengoku before? No? Okay, that was definitely the lab, but okay.
It feels like they had a floor rented for like a couple of days to do the filming, and it's like, well, we got to do all the filming on this one floor. Continuity be damned.
Yeah.
We get one floor, and then we get this elevator. Nobody's in it. So we got to hurry up and film that elevator scene. Because that is a tiny elevator for 2 people in suits, Kota, Kaito, and the cameraman.
Yeah.
But anyway, we now get you introduced to Sengoku for Kota and Kaito, and he is clearly a bit out of it since he is doodling new belts, very organic looking belts to be like, this is the next step in my research and technology and humanity and all this. And Kota and Kaito are like just done. They are just done with this man before he even says like 2 words.
Which those belts, if I'm not mistaken, actually do kind of take some characteristics like what we see from the Overlords later.
Mm-hmm. They weirdly look like organic versions of like the Typhoon, like one of them does at least, with like the lock, with like not even a lock seat. It is the bare fruit in the center of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's intentional or not.
Probably.
But yeah, Sengoku's like, oh, the Hase situation. Oh, that was an accident. I'm sorry. As much as he can be sorry. Also, Yoko's here in the background playing bodyguard and bodies 2 of them when they try to like ambush Sengoku from behind to grab their stuff because it's clearly on his desk. I love how Kota and Kaito are like quietly trying to plan out a move and stuff, and Yoko's like not even 2 feet from them, like already countering it. But yeah, he basically is like, do you want to help me? And both of them are like, no. And he's like, well, fine, go and think about it.
It's one of those, do you want to help me? Your answers are yes or yes.
Your answers are yes, or you get to spend your time in our nice little not prison cell. Later, Sid and Takatoura talk with Sakura, and Takatoura's like, I'm taking the belts away from them. They're done. And Sakura points out, it's like, you sure about that? That's not going to go well. And Takatoura's like, I'm not giving them a choice in the matter. It doesn't matter. We also get an explanation for the mass-produced driver that the Kurikages have that doesn't initialize to one specific person, so basically anyone can slap the driver on and use it. I don't know why they don't say why Kurikage specifically is their choice for the mass production version, but
they won't get to use that armor anymore if they don't do that one.
Basically, it's like, oh, the person who we attached that to died. Well, that suit's open now. All like 2 versions of it we have. Because I'm pretty sure we only ever legitimately see 2 people at the same time. Oh no. 3 maybe.
I think 2 with the 3rd being CGI'd.
Well, I'm thinking of like the flamethrower scene because I think 3 of them were together without.
But were they close enough to where there couldn't have been a camera splice?
I think so. They were together, but that could have also been like hiding things about the suit. They definitely have 2 suits at least.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd one. I'm like, they might have a third one.
It's probably one of the only few seats that they have two of.
Yeah.
Because we know they don't have extra flags for Kachidoki.
Yeah, they don't have extras of any weapon, I think. We cut to Mai, who's trying to talk to some of the, like, our minor beat writer characters to be like, hey, let's give up the lock seeds so we can prove that the invests are not our faults. And everyone involved goes, no. You're number one. We don't wanna. And then everybody leaves, and Mai's just like, why does no one listen to us? Why does everyone hate us?
Also, there was one team that wasn't there. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's more than one team, because technically the team that is the Kamen Rider Girls is also not there, but that's because they're a cameo team.
Yeah, there's other reasons for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Red Hot's not here because they don't care. We finally check in with Kota, who's laying around in his cell, and then Sakura shows up to basically go, hi, I'm working for Yggdrasil. Would you like power from me? How do you feel about power? And Kota rightly is just like, look, I don't want power for the sake of power. I just want to protect people and protect the city from the infest. That's all I want. And Sakura's like, would you like a power-up? Here's some toys. Have fun figuring it out. Also, here's the key out. Just use that when you're ready. Bye. I do like how it takes till Michi shows up for Kota to actually go out the door, even though he has the key on him the entire time.
Yeah, but he couldn't reach the panel.
I'm pretty sure he could, because there's a cutout for like a dinner tray on the same side that the lock is. He can literally reach out the window and just slap it on there. But yeah, Michi helps Kota, and then the two of them help Kaito, and then they go raid Sengoku's lab with no one in it to get their stuff. And Kaito decides to take an extra belt with him because
we need Knuckle.
Yeah. We need someone that they didn't plan for, I don't think. I forget the story with Knuckle. I'm pretty sure he was unplanned.
Probably.
And it was just going to end up being a case of, well, we have an extra... Because he basically uses the Kurakage suit with a new helmet and then the new armor and weapons. Because his undersuit is the same as the Kurakage's. But yeah, they try to make it out. Takatora gets informed of this, and through all of the fighting and stuff, he sees that Michi is working with them, and also is Ryugen. But Kota makes it to the tree alone because Michi goes a different way. Kaito fights off some goons because he's in a mood to fight, and Kota ends up having to 1v1 sit for a bit until Kaito shows up. The two of them bonk him with their bikes so they can go away. Marika does stop Sid from like dropping a finisher on the both of them because he's just like had enough. Sid absolutely wants to murder some more people in this show, and no one will let him. But Yoko stops Sid because Sengoku said so, and that's basically all she does the entire show is take orders from Sengoku and then take orders from Kaito. That's like one of the main negatives I think I have with the show, unfortunately. It's how Yoko ends up sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Takatora seeing Michi become Ryugen and fighting off some of the Kurakages on the dandelighter vehicles that they have, which are hover bikes, ends the episode, which takes us to episode 16, The New Arms, Gemma Lemon is Born. Michi escapes by taking out the Kurakages and then heading out. Koza and Kaito ended up doing the same on their bikes. Outside, Koza and Michi check up on Rat. He's injured, but he seems okay. He's not infected. They tell him about Mai's meeting. They talk about the invest stuff. We also see Mai come across an invest that's being controlled by Red Hot that's robbing a bank because Red Hot's decided, well, but for criminals, let's act like criminals and start committing real crime. Mai's pretty upset about this and will eventually tell Kota. Takatora does confess Sid about Michi, and Sid's like, I don't know what happened. I lost the belt, and oh look, it ended up in Michi's hands. Oh, that's not my fault. It was out of my hands. Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
And I love that he also is like, you know, I lost the belt, but you lost a lock seed.
Sid over here being like, hey, if you read the paperwork I tried to hand to you, you would have known this beforehand. It's not my fault that you can't keep an eye on shit. You're a bad boss. Sayoko also chimes in at this point to be like, one of my prototypes got stolen. I think he said specifically this is Sid.
Yep.
Because Takatora leaves the room eventually, and he's like, somebody is not on our side. And I'm like, oh, I wonder who it could be.
Could be anyone.
Mm-hmm. We check in with Kota as he tries to use the legendary lock seed directly in the belt that he got from Sakura. It doesn't work, even though technically it does work in the toy. You can use energy lock seeds in the Sengoku driver as Kota does in the show. It doesn't really do anything special. They're just designed in a way for the knife to kind of go behind all of the stuff that it kind of like folds out on, so it doesn't break anything. But it plays the same transformation sound and stuff that it does in the Genesis driver. But eventually Maya tells Kota about what Red Hot does. And before we get to that, Takatora decides to have a conversation with Michi, being like, I see you made off with stuff. What are we going to do with it? And Michi's like, I was going to give it to the public. And it's like, well, you certainly are doing more than I expected. Would you like to know what all is going on now? And then the two of them leave till the end of the episode. We cut to Kota confronting Red Hot. Tries to like reason with them, and the leader's like, how about fuck you? And then like sticks an invest on Kota, which I think I skipped the scene where yes, I forgot that was with I skipped the scene where Kaito shows up to run off Red Hot's invest that got sicked on Mai. We find out that apparently everyone figured out how to break the limiters that are on the lock seeds so they can just summon invest as they please without a belt. Which feels like a writing thing just to get certain scenes happening.
Yeah.
I feel like if that was going to happen, that would have happened sooner.
On top of that, I mean, the limiter is having a belt.
Yeah.
Meaning that there's no way to bypass having a belt unless you had a belt to then learn how to bypass.
Hmm.
And there's only 5 people that had a belt.
Yep.
Because Oren's definitely not going to help with this.
Absolutely not. yeah,
it's one of those. It definitely is just there to move stuff forward.
But yeah, Kota fights the Invest red hot summons. Eventually, Lockseed explodes, so the Invest is rampaging. Kota continues to try to fight it and also protect Red Hot because they're people. He's having a rough go of it and gets the faceplate knocked off his belt, which is when Kota goes, this is where the other thing goes, and slides on the other thing and puts in the lemon energy lock seed. And this is how we get Jimba, which is a mix of an energy lock seed and a regular lock seed. So Kota gets a sonic arrow for his trouble and makes quick work of the Invest. But we end the episode with Takatora taking Michi to a certain place in the forest to show him it's like, this is what we're really dealing with. And Michi's like, oh fuck. Which I'm pretty sure is supposed to be the ruins of the Overlord's civilization.
Yes.
We also technically in the episode with Coates getting a conversation with Bondo about the nature of power and stuff. Which I feel like it's more there because Bondo's actor is a legacy actor with Ryder. He's you remember the butler guy for Zolda from Ryuki?
Not really.
Oh, okay, I was about to say that's the same actor. We did not get to the point in Kabuto where he was, but that was also Kabuto, which we have tried hard to scrub from our collective consciousness.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the back end. How do you feel about it?
I almost kept watching after I got finished. I'm having to stop myself.
Fair. That is like probably the one problem. That might be why I've decided to like start watching Gaim the day of our shows. That way I can't watch more because it's like, no, I have to stop at 4 episodes and I have to do the notes. I cannot watch more than 4 episodes.
I think that's what I've been having to do too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the show continues to be good. Except for introducing a character that I'm like, I know I'm going to be annoyed by what happens to you. At least not in the next episode, even because she gets to have a good introduction as technically it's an introduction as Marika, even though she's been Marika like 2 times now.
Yeah.
But I guess any thoughts?
No.
All right then. Thursday, we start in the Yoskemi for cat stuff. Friday, we fight Shredder as turtles. Or
Nope.
right? No. We are doing Monkey Ball Friday. We fight Shredder as turtles on Saturday. There's a day off. And then next Sunday will be TGS, where
we talk about at least one direct.
Yes, we talk about a partner showcase that neither one of us were really invested in. Hooray!
At least one direct. Because you know what? I'll humor the rumor on that one. It ain't gonna happen, but I'll humor it.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, oh well.
All I can say is if it happens and it's an actual first party direct. Where's Prime 2 and 3 remaster?
Yeah.
Because at this point we really need that and then a release date for 4.
I'm waiting for like the next direct, and they're just like, here's the next thing from Monolith Soft, and I'm like, fuck, they're gonna show something really good. And I'm gonna be real sad about it. Because I won't be able to play it. Because I'm pretty sure they...
I could see that happening if that's going to be early 26.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, probably no.
Yeah. Because, like, Microsoft, they're like... They made all of the open world stuff for the Switch look as good as it does. Now they have more power. What are they gonna do with more power? That is the scary part of just like, you have given the team that have well and truly made every ounce of that Switch work for them to make their open worlds, not just for themselves but for other Nintendo games, and you have given them more power.
The only reason I say no for something from them is because we pretty much know that first party Nintendo, we're looking at Prime 4 and Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah, it absolutely wouldn't be. It was
even the new Splatoon one will not be this year. It'll be next year.
Yeah, Microsoft's next thing will be like next year, but considering their track record, it'll be like, well, we'll get the direct, and then it'll be announced for like 4 months after that direct airs, because it will probably already be in the can.
That's why I'm like, the only way I can see that is if it is literally coming out early next year.
Yeah. Because, like, Microsoft are insane and just like, oh, yeah, no, we've already... The game's already done. What do you mean it's already done? Yeah, it's done. We made it. We didn't crunch. We didn't do anything. We just made it. And it gets to be out in 4 months. Oh, wait, no, 3 months. We felt like it should be out in 3 months, so we're going to move it up a month. Because that's what happened to 3, where it was like, oh yeah, the game's done. And then they set it for a release date, and then we're like, we're going to release it a month early. But yeah, that'll be next week. And then in 2 weeks, we will be back with Gaim as Koza's sister doesn't get kidnapped, even though the preview says she will get kidnapped, technically. Amongst the next 3 episodes. I forget what's exactly after those 3 episodes, or after that episode. But between now and then, if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. If you want to sub and drop bits, you can do that too as well. If you so desire, we plan to mainly use that stuff for charity if you want to do that. Exclamation point YouTube and chat gets you the YouTube link or the YouTube archive for this and all our other streams. Weekly co-ops are still going out for 2022. I still have like 5 days left of scheduling to do for them, so if you don't like the weekly co-ops, I'm sorry. They're still going to be going out for a while. They're almost done though. I forget where we're at. I think one of the Star Citizen Invictus Day ones went out today. That might have been the last one that went out today. Let me look. A Star Citizen one went out today, not Invictus Day. I think Invictus Day was... Oh no. The 2 Invictus Days went out today, and then a 3rd Star Citizen went out today as well. We did a lot of Star Citizen in 2022. But also, exclamation point social in chat gets you the social, gets our handles for all our social media, so you know when we're live. Exclamation point Discord and chat gets like drop by, say hi. We'll see you Thursday, folks.